Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 575th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today, I'm speaking with John Correia. You may know that name from Active Self-Protection. He has over 2.67 million followers or subscribers on YouTube, not to mention all the other channels. He generates anywhere from 20 to 50 million views a month. He now has 11 employees. He is a handgun trainer. He trains jiu-jitsu. I got to roll with him, a year and a half ago out in Phoenix. So I know the guy. I've met him. Real dude, real story. Keeps things raw. If you follow him on Facebook, he keeps things real. He's got his pilot's license, but he talks about the family struggles and issues that he has. Very open guy, formerly a pastor. We talk about that a little bit. So really good guy. As I did on the last one, I'm going to do a quick review of a few of the tools that I recommend, tools that I'm using. Many of them are past guests on either the Sales Podcast and or the CRM Sushi Podcast, so you can skip ahead a little bit if you want to. But I got a wedding this week, so, second in under 90 days. So when you click those links, make a few nickels. So you can help a brother out, all right? But I will put the links in the description. So as you scroll up on your podcast player, you should see the notes and the links. But these are all real tools, real people. They're all affordable, and regardless of the size of your business, most of them can help you, on any size of your business. And I'm making subdomains so things are easy to remember. So it's always thesalespodcast.com, and then in front of it, I just put the company name. So like Lead Furno, I had them on very recently. Aaron Wyke, cool tool, leadfurno.com. Like he says, it'll turn lurkers into leads. So I'm going to memorize that, and good stuff. Donate. Hey, if you want to send me $5, $500, $5,555. Donate.thesalespodcast.com just to show some love and appreciation. There's always a free tool, thesalesagenda.com. Get you some of that. And so that is not a subdomain. That's just its name, but it's a free tool. It's the exact agenda I have followed since at least 2006 to take control of sales opportunities, sales meetings. And I review how to use it when you go sign up for that. Okay? Founder's card I have used for many years. I've saved a ton of money on my Stripe processing. My merchant account. I just saved 15% on. I bought a Bose SoundLink Mini sitting here on my desk, and a little portable. Well, this was portable, but there's a more ruggedized portable version that I bought as well. I actually used that in my HOA meeting, and we use it at the pool. But that's just founders.thesalespodcast.com. So you pay for this thing, but then you get discounts on rental cars, hotels, all kind of airline upgrades. And you install this little Chrome extension. And when you go somewhere like Shopify, whatever, it pops up. It says, hey, you have member benefits on this site. It's like, what? So when I went and looked at this Bose, a month ago, it popped up. It was 15% off. And I was like, all right, this stuff adds up. You buy $250 worth of stuff, get 15% off. I don't know. That'll buy a couple of adult beverages. You know what I'm saying? So check that out. John Buchan, I had him on a couple years ago. And actually, I just talked about him. I had another copywriter. It's going to be on the show, Stefan. He will go live right around episode 581. So what's that, 6 more episodes from now? But he knows John. They're both from the UK. But sending drunk emails. So smart guy. I like the guy. And he's a real dude. But just go to drunk.thesalespodcast.com. You will not see pictures or videos of me. You will get a link to John's stuff, his templates and whatnot. I have them. I use them. And the funny thing is, I've always had a pretty direct approach to prospects. I've always had an irreverent approach to prospecting. John just has really formalized it. And he's really good at breaking it down as to how you can put some life into your writing. Okay. And so you'll appreciate it. So go check him out. Phone burner. I've known Henry Evans for years. Smart guy. If you're doing outbound calls, okay, get you some burner.thesalespodcast.com. It will turn your outbound dialing team into just super efficient machines. Okay, so, and the phone is alive and well. Just had Andrea Waltz back on the show. She'll go live episode 582 if I stick to this schedule. I do a couple book reviews I've got planned, so don't hold me to these numbers exactly, but it'll be close to that. But she's a return guest from 8 years ago. And I asked her about using the phone, and she said it. I had Jeb Blunt on recently, like for the third time. Had him on right when COVID hit. The phone still works. So if you're making calls, if you want to make calls, if you want to be more efficient making outbound calls, go to burner.thesalespodcast.com. Tell Henry that Wes sent you. Also talking about email, and Stefan brings it up, and so I'll have some links that he mentioned when his episode goes live. But he talked about cleaning your list, okay, making sure that there's no spam traps. They call them honey holes, things like that. I know the Clean 13 founder. That's with clean with a K, clean the number 13. And you buy credits and you upload your list, and he scrubs your list and finds troublesome both like spam accounts, spam traps, as well as high complainers, which is pretty interesting. So then you can kind of make a decision. Maybe you peel those people off and do a little different outreach, maybe a little more personalized, or maybe just cut them out, right? It's good to fire your clients. But check him out, clean with a K, clean13.thesalespodcast.com. And then last but not least, just went live with Bethany. Episode 573, Bethany Stockenfeld. She's the co-founder of SendSpark. So SendSpark is kind of like BombBomb, which I had in the show. Ethan Burke had hit him on a couple times. Kind of like Bonjoro, which I also used, a free tool. They have a paid version. But SendSpark is a unique twist on sending video emails. And the way she and her co-founder have done this, it lets you splice in personalized snippets into existing content. So it's just it's a clean, efficient way to send emails, send video emails, and it's super affordable. So check her out, all right? Sendspark.thesalespodcast.com. Now, let's bring on Mr. John Correia. John Correia. Look, I know you're nervous on camera, okay?
I don't really like talking much in public.
We're going to take this slowly. I can reset at any time. All right. Owner of Active Self-Protection. Welcome to the Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
I'm awesome. Every day's a holiday. Every meal's a feast. How are you, man?
I'm good. So for those that live under a rock or, may not be into guns and self-defense and jiu-jitsu. I mean, you only got 2.65 million subscribers on YouTube. So maybe you've gotten a little comfortable on camera.
A little bit occasionally, yeah.
So my son, look, since we got to train jiu-jitsu, I just looked it up. It was February 2021. So it's been a year and a half. So we're due to hit the mats again. But ever since then, man, I went from like a 1 with my son to like a 1.5. Okay.
Like, hey, you've got some D-list YouTube celebrity sweat on you.
Oh my goodness. So you've got a show. I won't ask you to explain it. I'll try to explain it, but I've known you for years. I followed you for years and got to meet you in person. That was cool. But active self-protection, you take self-defense, maybe, I don't know, attacks, self-defense, issues, incidents that are caught on camera. You break them down, and you are a handgun firearm instructor, and you've made a pretty good little business out of this, shall we say?
Yeah, we got 11 employees now in the company. It went from just an idea in my head to some fortuitous decision making, and now it's my solo endeavor. So I actually have 2 channels. The big channel, like you say, it's got 2.65 million followers. We get somewhere around 20 to 50 million views a month. So A YouTube channel with 1.4 billion lifetime channel views is pretty rare. And yeah, every day people send me real life surveillance videos of defensive encounters, armed robberies, carjackings, muggings, stabbings. And I do after action reports on them. We do 3 badge cams a week as well. We train law enforcement all over the country. We have a second YouTube channel, Active Self Protection Extra. We teach handgun skills, rifle skills, shotgun skills, empty-handed skills sometimes, although I don't do a ton of that because, man, if you think firearms people are tribal and weird about technique, martial arts people are about 10,000 times worse. And the second you start saying, here's the best art and the best technique for this, holy Moses, everybody turns into Master Ken or, Dale Brown, the dust dude. And so, holy Moses, man, I don't do a ton of that. Some gear reviews, we do legal and moral self-defense over there. And then we travel and teach. We have a national conference every year. We have a podcast as well. So it's a pretty big enterprise now. It's 11 employees and a lot of work.
Well, everyone knows that jiu-jitsu is the best, and then you stomp the groin and re-stomp the groin. And those are the only 2 things you need to know.
Right. And listen, good. I've studied jiu-jitsu for a while. I've been on a little bit of a break, but but my rank is in a striking art. I think a little bit of striking, a little bit of standing grappling, and dirty boxing, and some stuff with some kicks in it. It's not a bad thing too. Nope. And some wrestling and some kind of grounded grappling, whether that's jiu-jitsu, sambo, catch wrestling. The popular one in America today is jiu-jitsu for sure, and is super fun and a great workout. And also, I really think a 2-stripe white belt in jiu-jitsu is pretty close to as competent on the ground, on the street as anyone out there.
Yeah.
And you go higher than that because you want to choke 2-stripe white belts out.
Amen. Yeah, I remember a buddy of mine, he nagged me for 6 months to go train with them. This was 6 years ago. He was Army Ranger, he was a sheriff, and I finally went and got hooked. But he would say, if you train for 6 months, you'll be able to handle yourself against any, just untrained, drunk bully. Right. And it's true, man. It's like voodoo.
It really is. It's just understanding the mechanics of the human body and how leverage works and how a strong base works and the ability to use that to get away, get up, reverse position, get yourself to a better place. It's a superpower for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 52 and I'm a big guy, but we'll get these 25-year-old Marines come in because we're close to Pendleton. And, I can't go toe to toe with a 220-pound, 25-year-old Marine. Right. So I'll let them bum rush me and I just shuck and jive and hurdle and get on my side. And man, 20, 30 seconds. They're breathing heavy. It's like, as long as I don't give them a knockout punch, right? I just defend, and they're tired. Roll them, mount them.
Yep. Yeah, those guys with all that muscle, man, it takes a lot of oxygen to.
Then I whisper in their ear, I was Air Force.
That's right. Good night, sweet prince. just tap, it'll be better. That's awesome, man.
If you buy me lunch, I won't embarrass you anymore.
The mean purple belt coming and whooping up on the poor white belts.
It's so fun. It is so fun. But I mean, you didn't come at this as like some snake eater. You were a pastor, right?
Yeah. So my first big boy job in the world, I was in the Navy. But I mean, I wasn't a Navy SEAL or nothing like that. I was a nuclear reactor operator. And then I got out of that and in 2002 moved to the Valley, moved to Phoenix. And I was a pastor here for 14 years, went to seminary. And started self-defense really because 2 things. My son, who was a little guy at the time, we were homeschooling and karate was his extracurricular activity. And he's like, Papa, come train karate with me. And then at the same time, I was working in retail and retail management, and the muggings for Xbox 360s and PlayStation 3, and I was running a video game store, and managers were getting hurt for them, and the robberies, because that was a little before real social media, but the secondary market for those on eBay around Christmas time was pretty insane. And so I went and got my CCW, started carrying because I didn't want to get mugged, and started training martial arts so they get off my back about it. And then found girls and football and wrestling in high school, and I kept doing it. And so, yeah, started the business in 2011 just as a way to write off ammo and training.
Nice. So how did that work? I mean, walk me through this, because I like to kind of get the origin story, right? And because yeah, here I was, I watched some videos, made some videos. Now I got 2.65 million viewers. Yeah,
Well,
it's like, okay, back up.
well, so okay, so 2006 I started carrying, started training martial arts with my son. 2011, so I did that for about 5 years. And then, man, if you go to any classes, gun school is expensive, man. Shooting is expensive, and I was living on a pastor's salary. I didn't have that kind of money, and so we were scrapping to make ends meet, single income family. And I mean, my first gun I bought with money that I made teaching for one of my mentors and teaching classes for him, and he paid me a few bucks, and I saved and saved and saved, and then finally bought it. So I was like, dude, I got to find a way to at least use pre-tax dollars or make a few side dollars so that I can kind of get into that stuff more. So I started, I went and got NRA certs is what I did, and started teaching handgun classes. And then, so that would make $1 or $2 occasionally, but not a lot. I mean, if any NRA instructor on earth will tell you, it's, how do you make a small fortune as an NRA instructor? You start with a large fortune, and there's no money there. So then, social media started for two reasons. Number one, I was a pastor, and the blue-haired ladies at church got frustrated about me putting gun stuff on my Facebook. That was not very pastoral. And then number two, to get away from that problem, help people see, hey, come and register.
All right, we had a little glitch there. Let's see if we fixed it. But yeah, so the blue hairs were getting upset. So
I mean, some people didn't like the fact that their pastor was talking about gun stuff on Facebook, and so started the social media presence for that. And then somebody commented from like Ohio on one of my posts or something, and I was like, wow, what would somebody from Ohio care? Well, I'm never going to get them in class because they're in Ohio and I'm in Arizona, but maybe I can just help them where they are. So that started kind of the Facebook page. They did memes for a while. I would make like high quality memes of like ideas in self-defense and stuff. And those got some traction and grew the page. And then Facebook started allowing video. So they were trying to compete with YouTube a little bit at the time. I think this is about 2014, like mid 2014. And so somebody sent me a video of a guy attacking a woman in a store in, I think, Taiwan. And so I did two things. I took that on my BlackBerry Storm to my martial arts teacher. And I was like, Professor, I don't know how to deal with an attack like this. And we've done some knife attack stuff, but I don't know that I'd be able to survive this. Did I miss it? Is it later in the system? Where is it? And he was like, well, let's workshop it in class tonight. And so we spent the whole 90 minutes in class workshopping this problem of this particular overhand knife attack with aggression. And I felt better at the end of that class. And I went home from class going, okay, so we just used what's happened to somebody in real life to inform our mat training. That was really cool. So I posted that video that night, and I said, here's what we did in our mat training, and here's some things that we thought through as we did that. So be aware of that. Boom. And that video kind of went viral, and people really liked it and shared it a bunch. So it's like, oh, that's cool. So I started doing that a little bit, and then that was good. And then somebody sent me a video that had it was like 5 minutes long, but there was like 4.5 minutes of nothing and then 30 seconds of action. So then I was like, dude, I know I have Adobe Premiere on my laptop, but I don't know how to use it. So I did, I went to YouTube. Give me a basic Adobe Premiere tutorial. And in that, part of that basic tutorial was, if you want to record audio, here's how you record audio. And I was like, oh, okay, well, instead of typing it in the comments, I could just say it as a voiceover and maybe put some arrows and circles and stuff. And I could be like the John Madden of on-camera violence. And we did one, and people responded well to it. And so that aha started things. We did those. I think the first one we posted those was October of 2014 on Facebook, because that's where my audience was. And then I had a couple videos on my YouTube channel. I made a YouTube channel for the company just so that nobody would squat on my name. And put a couple of videos over there, but didn't really think about it at all. It had gained a couple thousand subscribers. But I never checked it, never was anything about it. And then YouTube sent me an email, was like, hey, John, if you want, you can monetize your channel. And if you push these 2 buttons and give us account information, we'll send you dollars. And I was like, well, it's like walking down the street and find a $5 bills. What fool would say no to that? So I did those and took several of the older videos that I had made for the Facebook page, put them on the YouTube channel. And lo and behold, we found out that was where I should have been posting them the whole time. YouTube was doing very well. That was right before the adpocalypse of all things in early 2017. So started posting in 2016. April is when I monetized the YouTube channel, and it grew pretty darn rapidly from there. People really responded pretty well to them. So we started that in April of 16. And like I say, then it's been a labor of love. We literally post 365 days a year now. We post 10 videos a week to the big channel, 7 surveillance videos and 3 badge cams. We started the second channel in 2017 because I wanted to be able to teach a little bit more, do more technique-based stuff, legal and moral self-defense with more depth because I had more time. So that channel now has like 210,000 subscribers, something like that. I still consider it my baby channel, my play channel, but I don't think too many people would consider a channel of a couple 100,000 subscribers a play channel. We have multiple people on that every week, experts, and that's super fun. So we post 9 videos a week over there, plus the podcast. So right now we're creating 20 unique pieces of video content a week for self-defense.
Wow. Yeah, that's badass. Yeah, I went yesterday and requalified for my CCW, and golly, I got to shoot more. I've got
don't we all, man?
Got a Glock 43, and I love it because it's so small, and like I never have an excuse not to carry it. But man,
it sucks to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, my 38 special, my Smith & Wesson Airweight sucks to shoot. Yeah, that thing literally hurts your hand, and I'm not going to hit you unless we're close.
Right.
Because a revolver is so different. I was low and left, and what the hell? I mean, it's different. But yeah,
especially
Glock,
a double action only revolver with a heavy trigger.
Yes.
And difficult rudimentary sights and a small stocks on it so that you can conceal it well. It's hard to shoot.
Yes. I mean, I'm gonna brandish it first, then maybe knock you on the head with it second. And if you still keep coming, I'll just wait till you get up close and just put it in your belly. I'm not going to be that kid was it Indianapolis? What, 40 yards, put 8 out of 10 in that guy?
Yeah, so there's a lot of there's already legend growing out of that. We know the sheriff has said that at least his first shot was at 40 yards and was a hit. We know that he shot at him 10 times and hit 8. I don't know the distance of the other one. Certainly a 40-yard shot, even if he got one.
Was he approaching? So he was closing the distance?
He closed distance after the first shot. We know that for sure.
Oh, gotcha.
So we don't know all the details from there. They haven't released the video. They haven't there's been no definitive statements as far as I know his attorney actually, and they threw a blanket over that kid, rightly so, correctly. And he's not giving interviews. He's not any of that stuff.
Yep.
So we're not positive any of those things, but a hero nonetheless.
Oh yeah, for sure. Wasn't there a cop like in Austin, Texas, like holding a horse and like one shot, like 100 yards or something?
103 yards. Yeah. At a Draw Muhammad contest. And
what? At
a Draw Muhammad contest.
Oh, I got you. Holy crap. 103 yards. That's darn near, I always joke with people. Sometimes Jesus looks down from heaven and says, you know what? I've had it with that jerk. That's Masada Youb's thing. And just, makes it happen. Because a one-handed 103-yard shot with a pistol is pretty much a Hail Mary. I mean, except you and me, but for a mere mortal, that's
Well, I mean, just thinking about the mechanical accuracy of the gun and the ammo, right? So if the gun is a 3.5 minute of angle gun and the ammo is 3.5 minute of angle ammo, which is pretty good on both cases, you've got a 7-inch circle. If the shooter is perfect, that bullet at 100 yards hits in a 7-ish inch circle. And so if there's any deviation whatsoever by the shooter, now how big a circle are we talking about? 10, 12,
Mm-hmm.
14 inches. And so that's taking nothing away from him. Absolute
Yeah.
incredible shot, but a miracle nonetheless.
I wish I remember the story. You may have heard of it. And I think it was an Air Force pilot, but I'm not 100% sure. But a guy was talking about a miracle shot. He was in the left seat, and a Viet Cong, comes out from the clearing, from the woods into the clearing, and he says he pulled out, I think it was a revolver, left-handed, out the little window, one shot, killed the guy. And he was
Man, I've
like,
never heard that before, but that's a pure miracle.
yeah, oh, he says, dude, everybody's like legend. He says, dude, I was just lucky, but
I just try to scare him off. Go away, you bang.
yeah,
Oh, that hit him.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, basically. And so that was cool to hear. But um, so that's badass. I mean, but was it just you in the beginning? Was your wife helping you, or were you
No, my
just doing
wife is
this
not
after
really involved in the
hours?
company. My wife is an incredible woman. She homeschooled her kids for 12 years and then became a midwife and was a doula at first and then a midwife. And she's always kind of had her own stuff there. Didn't want to be involved in my business. Some couples work great when they're, working a business together. I don't, that's not my wife and I. I think I'm a little ready, fire, aim, and she is super planner. And so that could work well together, or we might murder each other.
Oh yeah,
And so
I
she
hear you.
wasn't involved. It was just me at the start. I hired my first employee in 2016 to just kind of clear my inbox and be an executive assistant, and then hired a second helper with video editing because to make enough of them, I couldn't create and edit and upload and all that stuff. It just got to be too much. I was working a full-time job at the time. And so that started slowly. Now, the first employee I ever hired, Stephanie Widener's her name, is now the CEO of the company. She actually runs the company. I'm the president. She's the CEO. So I don't run the day-to-day ops of the company. I make content and love my staff.
Yeah, that's smart. So yeah, after the apocalypse, right? Talking about 2017, and
Mm.
people are talking about like there's kind of maybe another one now. Or I was talking to a friend of mine, friend of the family. She's a musician, and she's saying like right now her income has been hit like 30%. She's more on Instagram, doing little I don't know, like a cameo, like short clips. And are you seeing that? Is that hitting YouTube? Is it hitting all social
Yeah.
media?
Yeah.
Is it
Everybody right now,
recession or what?
I think recession, inflation fears. I think businesses are worried about budget. So they're not spending as many advertising dollars, which seems to be kind of a mistake to me if you want to attract business.
It's always crazy. Yeah.
Um, but so that is kind of everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that as well. But I mean, I don't know, man. This is why number one, as a business owner, you don't run your budget to your income. You leave room for problems and the unknown. And so we keep our payroll and those things and our expenditures that we can weather storms like this. And I've worked very hard to save money. I am this is kind of against my normal thing. So I don't want to get overly spiritual, but I sometimes feel like Jesus whacks me over the head and it's like, hey, dummy, save a bunch of money. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, Lord, I could do all this fun stuff with this. No, you're going to need that money. So
Yeah.
we did that really hard. So 2020 and 2021 were actually banner years for us. When the lockdown started, people stayed home and watched YouTube. And so our views went up and companies really wanted to reach those people. So our ad revenue went through the roof in points. And we were smart with that money. So that's helped us weather the storm.
So do you pick your sponsors, or like do you let YouTube do it?
Well, there's double ways here. So when most people think of monetizing YouTube, they think of the videos that YouTube puts, the advertisements before, middle, and after. And that's through their company AdSense. And I have zero control over AdSense. I don't get to see who puts ads on my videos. I think if I wanted to, I could exclude someone. I could say I don't want that ad. But I joke with people, like during the election cycle, President Biden's campaign put a bunch of ads on my channel, and people were like, Joe Biden is putting ads on your stuff. And I was like, dude, click on it, because then he has to pay me. I'll take his money.
Yeah.
I don't think he's
Amen.
going to influence voters, that are big time for firearms rights and self-defense, but I'll take his money.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And then we also have private sponsorships. We do those are known as brand deals. And so we have some long-term sponsors. We only really do long-term relationships with that for the most part, but we have companies that, today's video is brought to you by,
Yeah.
and those are private brand deals. And actually the brand deals today are a bigger portion of the company income than AdSense.
Yeah. That's cool. What is something behind the scenes that people may not know? Insofar as like running a business primarily on social media,
Mm-hmm.
because it looks nice, right? Oh, look at John. He's in his studios. He gets to just talk about things that he likes. Wow. It must be cool to be John.
I mean, and it is cool to be John. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, I love my life, and I say that all the time. Told my wife the other day, I love what I do for a living. But you know this, man. Being an entrepreneur, you get to work half days, and you pick the first 12 hours of the day or the second 12 hours of the day. And in fact, I literally just talked to my wife over this weekend, and I said, I don't know the last time I had a day off. I need to take a day off.
Yeah.
And I don't know the last time I did that. It's either I'm sitting in the office working, I'm making video content, I'm traveling to classes, teaching, taking classes. And I joke about making video content. It's like, from the Boondock Saints, right? I'm like 7-Eleven. I'm not always doing business, but I'm always open. And so it's a lot of hard work, man. And so something some people might not know, though, it's kind of funny now with our total social footprint's about a little over 3 million, like 3.2 million across all platforms. And so it's pretty 50-50 just going out into the general public that somebody wants to come and say hi.
Yeah.
And that's great. I have no problem with it at all. But I do got to say, like, I understand like actual celebrities, like A-listers, like real celebrities, people that, and the number of people that want 30 seconds of your time or 5 minutes of your time, it can get to be a little exhausting. You've always got to be on.
Yeah.
And I know why those folks kind of pull back. Now, I love it personally. I mean, somebody that comes up and goes, "Hey, John, I love your videos. Thanks, man. You saved my life." And I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't save your life. You saved your life. Tell me what happened." And, hearing their story, man, I heard your voice in my ear when this thing went down, and then I did this thing, like you said, and it worked. Super gratifying, right? To know that the coaching message works. And although I suppose if it didn't work, I probably would never hear about it, right? Because they wouldn't be around to tell me.
Yeah.
But so, sometimes I love it. It's fun. I love saying hi to fans, but there's a weird parasocial relationship thing. And if you look at parasocial relationships, people assume like, oh, John's in my house all the time. He's in my cell phone. And so we know each other. And I know John, and I go like, "Hi, I didn't catch your name. It's nice to meet you. Tell me about you, and tell me, what you do for a living, and this and that." Or John teaches me about self-defense, so I know him. I go, "No, you don't. If you don't know the color of the couch in my house, you probably don't know me." So that's an oddity, right? It's a weird thing about being a public person like that. And so I do like it. It's a good, gratifying life, but it's weird. My teenagers think it's freaking hilarious when people recognize me. I've got two. Well, actually, I only have one teenager left now. I've got 3 kids in their 20s and one teenager. And they just think it's the funniest thing that dad's a YouTube celebrity and that some of their friends watch my stuff.
Dude, I remember I had an office for about 14 months, like 2013, 2014. And I did a little training session. And this woman drove down from Corona, like 30, 40 minutes. And she walked in, and like when you walked in, like there was my assistant's desk, and we had a little conference table, and kind of go to the right. And it's a big open room. I just kept it as a training room. And I was kind of walking towards the door from the training room, and she walks in. I still remember she's holding my book, and she goes, "I've got your book. You sound in person just like you do like when I'm reading," or something like that. And I was like, "Dude, this is weird."
Yeah, okay.
Like, "Thank you. Are you okay, man?" And so uh, I know that's crazy. But so tell me about your schedule. You've got like, are you super diligent? I mean, you're putting out a lot of content. So do you have to be
Yeah.
super strict? Hey, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is this, 10 a.m. to noon is this. And because you got production, you got editors. So, I mean, you can't be winging too many things.
No, no, I don't work well with that much structure. I need a little bit of structure, but I don't work well with a highly structured environment. One of the reasons
Hmm.
that after 8 years in the Navy, I decided that I wanted to do something else with my life. That much structure was detrimental to kind of my free spirit. So I'm an ESTJ. If you've ever done Myers Briggs, which means the whole world would be a better place if people just listened to me. And I'm a bit of a free spirit. So I do work pretty hard. I get up in the morning. I do a workout first thing, like that's my very first thing in the morning, and then have some coffee. Now I don't do crazy stuff. I'm talking 15 minutes, right, of something. Move your body, get stronger. Strong people live longer and are harder to kill. And then have some coffee, check my news, spend some time with the Lord, read my Bible, just sometimes in prayer for people, for myself, for my life. And then I'm usually sitting at the desk before 9 a.m. if I'm home, right? So when I'm home, I'm there, and I'll typically work. I try real hard to quit work by about 6:30. But that'll be straight through. It'll be 9:30 latest to 6:30, and focused effort and energy. And I batch create stuff, so I might be researching videos, sitting at my desk and going, okay, what was the news story? What really happened here? How did that really go? Which is kind of hard, So about 50% of my content is U.S. based, and of course English is my first language. But then my number two country is Brazil, so I've learned how to Google search in Portuguese, even though I don't speak Portuguese. Uh, so finding news stories in other countries when stuff goes down, making sure that it's real, making sure that we know stuff. Then setting up the studio here and filming introductions, because I'm only on camera a little bit. I'm usually kind of behind the camera with audio. Then importing them all into the system, into the video editing system, doing the video editing thing, recording the voiceover audio. Then that gets sent off to my editor, who happens to, I'm legally obligated to love my editors, my middle child, and who's doing a great job. Just took that job over for me in, June, and is doing a really good job. So then they go up and get uploaded from there. So I might be doing that. I might be filming content for the second channel. I might be planning and saying what's the next class I'm going to teach, what's the next class I'm going to take. We also batch content like crazy, man. I'll go to the gun range, and if I go to the range, I'm not filming one video. I'm filming 5, 8, 12. I'm not messing around with it. I have to film batch contents because we got too much to do, and it's a real varied day. I might be talking to a friend on a podcast, or I might end up having to go get some stuff, or what I'm not huge on gear. Gear is like the smallest part of survival and defensive gunfighting and defensive encountering, but it's not unimportant. So might be doing some of that stuff, or giving a company feedback on their product, or so it's a really variable life, and
Hmm.
you wake up. I guess the one thing I have to do all the time is I'm constantly looking and saying, okay, what kind of reservoir of content do I have? And are any of my staff waiting on me? That's really what I do. And I go, okay, these are the places where I need to get my work done so that they can get their work done, and they can do their stuff. And I take a very inverted model of leadership. I know a lot of people think, when you're the leader, you're in charge, you're the head dog. I look at it just the opposite. Jesus says the greatest among you is your servant, and so I serve my staff. I'm the servant of all in my staff. So they don't work for me, I work for them. I get my work done so that they can get their work done, so that we can all get paid. And if they don't have the materials, the resources, the understanding of how to do their job well, that's on me, and that's my fault, and I got to serve them better. So that's what I do every day, and thank goodness for my incredible staff. Our CEO Stephanie runs the day to day. Her husband Neil, they live in South Dakota. Neil's our chief marketing officer. He does all our sponsor relations, and also runs our training company. My great friend Mike Williver runs our podcast, so I might be working with Mike. Mike also comes and analyzes badge cams with me. So we're constantly back and forth about that. What are we going to do with those? He does an incredible job. My video editor, Aaron, my middle is great. Our bookkeeper, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Again, 11 people total. We have an instructor certification program that we run. So we really teach firearms instructors how to teach and how to connect to students, how to build curriculum, how to assess. These are educational things that aren't really taught in the firearms world. And Carrie Dudenhofer and Chris Bean are heading that program. Incredible people doing incredible work. And so we invest a lot of time in those. So that's stuff that, you might end up on a Zoom call, or you might end up, grading assignments or talking to a student in the instructor program. We've got we just started that a couple of years ago. So it's a cohort style program. Previous ones have been 6 months long. We're gonna probably tighten that up a little bit to about a 4-month program in 2023. But those take a lot of work to love those students. So I will say that, this as a business owner, right? You never go to quit work and everything's done. Yep. I've never left work a day and went, I don't have anything to do. I'm done. It's okay. My brain's fried. I'm done working today. And now I've got these 7 tasks will get done tomorrow.
Yep. Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. We'll prioritize those.
Walk me through your process to make yourself president and promote Stephanie to CEO.
So Stephanie came on. She's my very first paid employee. Actually, I put out a call on social to help me just moderate comments on the Facebook page. It was getting too much for me. So she started helping me do that, clear my email inbox, this and that. And then Stephanie just became, she was pretty new in the defensive world, in fact, and was a mom. Like, they had, Stephanie and Neil have 5 kids, and she homeschooled and had gotten into self-defense and gotten into firearms in particular because their youngest child, Cody, came to them from adoption. And if you're ever on any of my public social stuff, you'll find Cody around. Or if you come to our national conference, we jokingly call Cody our mascot. And Cody's 16 today. He's a high special needs kid. He'll probably never live on his own, but he's also one of the most awesome people you'll ever meet in your life. And when he was a baby, his family of origin situation wasn't great. And there was a credible threat that his grandpa had gotten out of prison and was going to come and take him by force, and from their foster home. And so she realized, I've got 5 kids in this house and I don't have any way to protect him. And this guy is coming. And so that started her on her journey. So that led her kind of towards me anyways. So after a while, we joked, Scott, I'm out of a military background, right? Like you are. And so I said, hey, look, I'm the CEO of this company, but really any great command needs to have an executive officer, right? And you know this, that the CEO, the old man, like he's dad, everybody's best friend, right? And if you piss the CEO off, you did something seriously wrong. And everybody should love the CO, and the XO is usually the taskmaster, the one who executes the vision of the CO, right? So that worked great for us, is that we called her the XO. And except for the problem, and that worked great. So we had, the only employee that doesn't report to her is her husband, because direct report relationships among spouses is a bad idea, right? But he's also my best friend. So, it just works. We work well together. But so after a while, though, we started growing a little bit, 5 staff, 6 staff, 7 staff. And I start going, okay, kept introducing Stephanie. Stephanie's my executive officer. Stephanie's my executive officer. Stephanie's my executive officer. And the military folks, they got it. Just immediately picked that up, right? Oh, cool. Okay. So she's your XO. Exactly right. And, but the vast majority of people in the industry don't have any military background. And so I'd say, Stephanie's my XO. And they'd be like, what? And I was like, okay, so here's the reality of things. So Steph and I sat down and talked about it. And I was like, we have that title in the civilian world. We have this title. We have the title of the executive officer, but that person who actually runs the show day to day, we call the chief executive. Now in some other places, you might call that person the executive director. So some people say, oh, they're the executive director. But the functions of an executive director and a CEO are functionally identical. Your job is to run the day-to-day ops. And so in a lot of places, that's also combined with, and you're in charge of the whole show. You are president and CEO. But I don't know that that's the best model, quite frankly, because that puts everything on one person. They have to be the visionary leader. They have to be the one who everybody looks up to. They have to also be the heavy. They all have to do that stuff. And some people say, well, no, now the heavy job has moved off to chief ops, right? COO. And you're like, all right, but in a traditional sense, not so much. And so I said, listen, I'm the founder, I'm the owner, I'm the president, but I need people to respect what you do around here and to recognize what it actually is. And so what we should do is call you by the title that the civilian world would recognize what you're doing, and that's chief executive. And she resisted that quite a ways. In fact, she didn't want that title. She was like, no, I'm good just being your XO. I don't want that on me. But I said, you know what? Here's the other part. She's a highly competent firearms instructor, one of the best coaches of shooting that I know. She's excellent at running the staff. She is a master of organization and of keeping 27 flaming balls in the air at once and not getting burned. And also she reads people excellently, and she's just a really excellent leader. And I was like, look, you got to step forward. We're a big enough company now that you can't sit in the background. You can't be, I hide behind John. You got to be who you are, because you're holding, especially other women in our company and in the industry, back by staying in the background. So she took the role, and she's excelled at it. And now she's kind of in her own right in the industry. She comes on and analyzes video with me on Saturdays on the big channel. Has kind of stepped into that role a little bit. And in the firearms and self-defense industry, she gets invitations to do stuff that I don't get, which is kind of fun. And so it's been a very healthy, good thing. And I think obviously a lot of people, I'm the face of the franchise, right? I'm the one that everybody associates with active self-protection. But anybody who's in the industry knows, no, Stephanie runs the company. And if you want something done, if they go, hey, John, I want to talk about, this collaboration, I'm not the guy to talk to. She kind of also protects my time and my schedule. So she's kind of like, hey, and it's funny. That's one of the things that I say, hey, I want to serve people. And she says, yes, but you have to serve your staff and your audience first. And so you have to get all this other stuff done. And I have this nasty tendency personally to say yes to too much. Yep. And so she's like, nope, you're not allowed to say yes without approval about stuff anymore. And you're not allowed to do hiring anymore, because that's my job. And so taking all that stuff off of me allows me the freedom to get as much work done as I do.
Yeah. We were talking about that on my Monday call. I had my son on the call, and so one of my members, she's local, and I know her, but we were using analogies like how to break the ice with people, how to connect, how to read them, how to establish some baselines. So you can start reading a little bit of body language and little things, and she's using some examples, and I'm like, okay, that wouldn't work on me. Right. It's like, I'm happy-go-lucky, but in a business setting, I'm a freaking hard ass. And you try this happy-go-lucky, because my son's using, the Ford example, right? Family, occupation, recreation. Forget what the D was. But I'm like, I'm not doing small talk. Oh, dreams. Like, you start talking about me about dreams. Like, I'm here for business. I'm like, go pound sand. I'm going to go find somebody who wants to do business and not talk about my dreams. But I told her, I said, in general, it's like, but I can't, it's like decision makers have gatekeepers, because once you get to us, we're easy sales.
Right.
It's like my wife, because she laughs because they know each other. My wife's so friendly. She's never met a stranger. She will cut your throat in a negotiation. I'm not allowed to go buy anything, because she'll get 20% off their best price. And I'm like, I'll pay 5% more. I'm like, that's a sales guy. He's on commission. I don't know. I like it. I want it. I don't feel like haggling. I got other things to do than haggle.
That's right? Dude, you and me, we're on the same thing on that.
I mean, people don't get that, right? It's like, if it's a big enough company, it's worth the effort to get to the boss, because then he'll drive it down, but it's hard to get to the boss.
Well, and I think as the boss, as the owner, I've learned one of my biggest, really, you don't have anything in your business except for the people. And if you don't trust your people to make decisions, then either you've got trust issues or you need new people. And that's the bottom line. Yeah. So, I haven't, like with our sponsors and stuff, I haven't signed a contract with one of our sponsors in years. It's not, Neil does
Right.
all that negotiation. Neil does all the relationship building, and I'm still involved with those people. And, we'll talk about stuff and, hey, what do you think about this? Or, I saw this cool thing, but hey, man, that's your baby. And you have proven yourself by your work that you're trustable. So you are the decision maker. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, and I say, look, if you're questioning, if you're like, hey, I need another set of eyeballs on this because I'm not sure, well then cool. I mean, we're happy to do that, but you have decision making authority, and I'll back your play.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, I need somebody to pay for my ammo, but I'm lazy. So can I make like inactive self-protection? You think that would be like a good channel?
I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? It's a big internet. You never know what'll happen. I
I'm
do
just
tell
being
people,
honest.
man, if you can make money on social media or some way else is probably preferable. It takes a ton of work. Somebody says, well, John, how'd you build this audience? It was 5 years of unrelenting work before I really made any money whatsoever, and then 2 more years of very hard work to where it was my full-time income. And now the last 4.5 years, it has been my solo income. And we've never missed a mortgage payment. Thank God. We've never had to delay paying staff or whatever. But the expectations are many. And if you think, everything is great, well, just go on my channel and you'll see there's a proportion of people who have no problems telling me what an idiot I am every day.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot. It's fun and it's good and I like it, but it's a lot of work. And if you ever told me that I would be running a social media empire with 11 employees, I would have said, no way, man, that's just not who I'm going to be. I'm going to be a pastor and a professor and a monk. And now instead I get to be YouTube famous. Whee!
Well, I've been trying to sell my feet pictures on OnlyFans, but nobody's buying. So I don't know, man. I guess I got to keep
Yeah, my
whispering.
OnlyFans is just the opposite. People pay me money to keep my clothes on. It's like, no, John, please, God, put something on, bro. We don't want to see that.
Oh man, I didn't do it this past year, but for 7 years I did this Tampa Bay Frogman swim. We go across Tampa Bay 3.5 miles, and my butt, the military, right? These guys are chiming in. Oh, you're gonna wear Speedo and all this, and I was like, you want to see me in a Speedo? They're like, no, I don't want to see you in a Speedo. I'm like, okay, then if you donate enough money, I won't show the picture in my Speedo. Otherwise, check your inbox, biatch.
Because it's coming. I'm gonna wear the banana hammock. What now?
Guys are like, fine, I'll donate. Don't do it. I'm like, don't come at me, bro. Come on, man. Come on.
I say, listen, Wes, you're a jujitsuka, bro. I was like, hey, if you want to freaking have Wes's balls on you, it's real easy. Just show up on the mat.
That's right. Guys are like, whatever. I said, look, my schedule. I train 6 days a week. Come on down. You know where to find me.
Know where to find me.
If you ain't there, then I know it's just yap, yap, yap. Well, man, go run your empire. I'm linking everywhere. ActiveSelfProtection.com. It's get_ASP on the Twitter. But yeah, active self. Just type in active self-protection, people. You'll find John.
I'll show up.
So good stuff, man. Well, thanks for carving out some time from your empire and sharing some words of wisdom.
Dude, man, great to talk to you.
Yeah, good to see you. Have a good day.
Talk to you later, Wes. Bye-bye.
Former pastor, former karate guy, former retail, built up a business just to pay for his side hustle, for his hobby. And look at him now. That can be you. Find something that you like, find something that you're passionate about, jump in. Put yourself out there, and to hell with the naysayers, go build something. Okay? And you can, he didn't have a vision for this like this big when he started. It was a passion thing, and like I said, he had a short-term goal of covering his expenses for his hobby. That's a nice side hustle. Get started with that. And my 12 Weeks to Peak program, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, it's brand new, it's free. 12weekstopeak.com. I'm having participants, and it's totally free. There's no upsell, there's no hidden fees, there's no gotchas. 12weekstopeak.com. But I'm having the members do different things every day. Okay, it's a variety of things to see what works, to get over your insecurities, to get over whatever's holding you back, which is just yourself. Okay, so, and making videos is one of those things. We talked about it today on the weekly call, my private group, where people are stretching. They're getting out of their comfort zones. I talked about how to write every day, an easy way to make an outline, to get you motivated, to stay on track. But you got to take this action, okay? John took that action. So emulate John. If you need some help knowing what to do, if you want some accountability so you know you're not alone, it's brand new. I'm meeting with app developers right now. It'll take a while to have an app, but we give you a Google Sheet. You can clone, you can duplicate, keep track on your own, and join our free group, and we'll help you get through it. Okay, and I promise, if you go through 12 Weeks to Peak and you do everything that's in it, you will be a better salesperson, a better marketer. You will be tougher. You'll be more disciplined. It's going to help you. I say, welcome to the last hard quarter of your life. Because if you get through that and map things out, you'll know what works, and you'll know how to make the phone ring, how to close deals when you get through with that. Okay, but it's by taking action like John did. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll go sell something.